Ryan Sabey is Deputy Political Editor of The Sun. Ryan, just tell us about this absolute mess.
I think one thing that Keir Starmer tried to do today is try and just move on from this absolute debacle that's happened over recent days. Now, the trouble is, it's just going to linger on. If the people in Downing Street or Sir Keir Starmer thought they were going to try and kill these briefings, these botched briefings, I think they've just stoked it up. And I think as soon as the budget looks like it's going to hit everybody, it's going to be very, very bad. You're going to have, get into the new year and May elections. It's just going to come round time and time again. So I noticed as well that this inquiry seemed to happen very, very quickly. It seemed to be a phone call with his staff, and he was assured that it didn't come from number 10. Well, it seems to me there probably should be some kind of Cabinet Office leak inquiry into this if the Prime Minister and those around him really wanted to get serious about actually finding the culprits. He's tried to close it down. It's going to rumble on for days and days. At the same time, when the public are crying out for solutions to the big problem of the economy, small boats, the NHS.
Well, let's talk about the NHS. Let's talk about the minister who was allegedly behind this coup plot. Wes Streeting says it's nothing to do with him. He has accused the striking doctors' union of behaving like a cartel. Some of the detail in that as well I was reading about as well. Some of the demands for £6,000 to cover a weekend during the strike. I mean, these doctors are living in cloud cuckoo land, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's the language from the Wes Streeting is very, very stark today, talking about the cartel that they operate, making big demands. And I think one thing that Wes has been saying over recent days, every time that you effectively sort of shut down the NHS during one of these strike days, it's costing the best part of £250 million. So he's trying to, try and take a step forward. But every single time there's industrial action, they're taking 2 steps back. So you can just sense the frustration. They've been trying to do as much as they can to get the striking doctors round the table, but it seems like they just won't listen, and their demands are just too much in this environment.
Yeah, I think that's very, he says it's become increasingly clear, the Health Secretary Wes Streeting says it's become increasingly clear that BMA is no longer a professional voice for doctors. That's the British Medical Association, their union. They're increasingly behaving in cartel-like behaviour, and they threaten not just the recovery of the NHS under this government, they threaten the future of the NHS full stop. And I think that is a morally reprehensible position. Those are strong words from the Health Secretary.
Yeah, the Health Secretary, one of his big plans for the coming months and years to try and drive down waiting lists. Now, the only way you're going to get that is to make sure there are doctors and their hospital staff and medical staff in doctors to actually attend to patients, to make sure those appointments aren't actually cancelled. Now, if these doctors aren't there for 5 days in a row, it's just going to make the backlog even bigger, despite all the sort of money you're pouring into it, and it just won't work. So you can just sense that frustration. That's the last thing that Wes Streeting, it seems like he needs right now, is to be caught up in the middle of this briefing war but between number 10 and
in fairness to Wes,
around.
In fairness to Wes Streeting, he does appear to actually want to do some governing, unlike those nameless people behind the scenes, although you and I know who some of them are. We just can't put their names in the public domain because they'll sue us. In terms of these briefings that are happening, and the fact that it's such a distraction from what people want the government to do, which is get on and govern and solve the problems of our country, Ryan.
Yeah, that's right. There are always mutterings around cabinet ministers who are seen as ambitious. Those who, it'd be strange if a cabinet minister didn't want to lead their country.
Every MP wants to be prime minister. Yeah,
they have a big vision. They have a strategy of trying to sort of make their careers better. They're ambitious type of people. That's why they're in politics. Now, what happened over recent days? Some of that was treated, with a briefing war that was unjustified for what was going on around it. It just seemed completely over the top. And I think those people who were briefing that probably just need to hold off. And actually, the public just don't appreciate it. It kind of came out, for the public who'll be watching this, it came out of nowhere.
Well, of course, people they haven't heard of trying to destabilise the government. It just seems so self-destructive as well. Ryan, thank you as always. Ryan Sabey there, Deputy Political Editor of The Sun.